Today we're looking at MG's electric vehicle. It comes in two different models, the Essence and the Excite. So the one we've got here today is the Essence, the top of the range in metallic red. We are going to go through a lot of details of the car, so if there's something you want to see specifically, don't forget to skip ahead on the chapters. You don't have to follow us through the whole video. Alright, so just looking at the rear of the vehicle, you've got a rear spoiler at the top, a high-mounted LED stoplight. The rear tail lights are LED, have got a 3D effect and almost infinity look, so when you look into them, it looks like they disappear into the back of the tail light with reflectors built in there. One of my favorites in terms of the rear styling is the MG logo and rear handle, so that's incorporated in there. No power tailgate. Once you're inside the boot, you can see it's got a lift section over here. It is compartmentalized, so this can come out completely, and it's got two different height settings. So you can load it in flat, gives you a flat loading area, or you can bring it up and give you a higher loading area. The vehicle doesn't have a spare tire. Instead, it's got a small compressor that allows you to pump up the tires. It also has this tire sealant. So I can only guess that this is used to inflate the tire and seal up any tears or punctures. You've got your charging unit in here, which is a standard EV charging unit that can plug into a normal wall socket, and from there plug into the front of the vehicle. To be honest, I'm quite happy that they've designed all these little compartments in here for all these little accessories. A lot of the other EVs that I've seen, there's actually nowhere to put the charger. I'd actually want to point this out. So if you look at this parcel shelf, the way it's designed to have two different settings. So there's the high setting, if you want to call it that, and a low setting. And then they've cleverly used this space in the back of the wheel wells by putting these little nets over here, so that when this base is at the lowered position, the nets still actually catch whatever's in there. And if you've got it in the higher position, those little nets would prevent something from rolling in underneath there and disappearing. So even though the car at first glance doesn't appear that large, the trunk is actually really big and has a lot of space. When we had a look underneath, and you start to realize that it's a front-wheel drive car, so at the rear you've got no differentials, no drive shafts, no fuel tanks. There's really just nothing that has to go in the back over here, so they've been able to utilize all of that space, give you a lot of luggage room in the back of this vehicle. Looking underneath, the battery starts from in front of this rear axle and runs forward, so it's actually positioned perfectly between the rear axle and the front axle, giving you a very low center of gravity. So just looking at the rear, it does have reflectors over here, but they haven't just stuck on a reflector. They've put a bit of a time and attention into it, given it a teardrop look, as well as a small honeycomb effect just underneath there. You've got a chrome finish over here on the rear bumper, as well as piano black finish running through there. So it gives you nice contrasts of colors with the red and the black and the silver. It's got 3 rear sensors, and it utilizes the 360-degree cameras to give you full visibility all around the vehicle. The rear camera sits just there, just above the number plate. So the 8 differences between the Excite and the Essence are: front seat heating, driver and passenger, panoramic glass sunroof, rain sensing wipers, roof rails, wireless phone charger, leather seats, blind spot detection, and rear cross traffic alert. This one is the Essence, and you will see all of those features on this vehicle on today's video. You got a 17-inch tires on both front and back, as is commonly traditional with electric cars nowadays. They have gone with a flat look on the rear tires with an MG logo. The side styling, you got a dual tone finish on the door handles. It is color coded running through there, but it also has chrome to finish it off, and the chrome ties in with the roof rail to this chrome finish through the windows onto the door handles and then running across the bottom of the vehicle. So unlocking the car, it does have a proximity key. As long as the key is in proximity to this button, you can just press that button and unlock the car. Moving to the mirrors, we've got 360-degree view cameras, so we've got cameras mounted underneath these rear view mirrors. The rear view mirrors are also color-coded and dual-toned. The wheel arches, they have gone with this black finish running through the arch. The front styling of the vehicle, as you can see, traditional look for an electric vehicle. There is no front grille, there is no air intake over here, so that's all been sealed off. Well, I think there is still a small air intake that comes in over here. So the MG logo on the front grille matches the one at the back. Same design with a chrome finish all the way through it, an MG in chrome. It's got, I would say, a spiderweb looking front grille that runs through here and through the bottom. Chrome finish over here with an L shape running left and right with the front radar system situated just there. Camera just underneath the MG logo, and your charging flap that opens up over here. And the charging flap has got the normal charger, and it's got the DC charger. So the DC charger is used for high-speed charging, direct current, and your AC charger is the one that can plug straight into the wall. You don't get a front trunk. What you have underneath here is the electric motor that's powered by the battery. There is also an automatic transmission that runs front wheels. So you've got 2 drive shafts to the 2 front driven wheels and the electric motor. It's powered by a 50 kilowatt liquid cooled lithium ion battery, delivering 280 Newton meters of torque and 130 kilowatts of power. So looking at the curb weight of the vehicle, 1,570 kilograms for the Excite and 1,610 kilograms for the Essence. So the Essence weighs 40 kilograms more than the Excite, and I would probably primarily put most of that weight down to the panoramic sunroof and all the additional mechanisms that it would have to employ to get it to work. Worth noting, the range on the 2 cars is quoted the same, where you would actually think that if there's a 40 kilogram weight difference on the 2 cars, that the range of the Excite should be a little bit better. The 0 to 100 is posted by MG at 8.2 seconds. I'm going to have a drive in it in a minute and you'll see how this thing performs on the expressway. It does also have 3 different drive settings. So it's got an Eco, a Normal and a Sport. Over here you've got your USB charger, your USB-C charger and a 12 volt charger, which replaces the old cigarette lighter which doesn't exist anymore. And that's your 12 volt charger. This is your wireless charging for your smartphone. The wireless charging for the cell phones is only on the top of the range. These 3 switches over here, the one is to control the 3 different drive modes of the vehicle. The one in the middle is to control the regenerative braking. It does actually have 3 different settings for regenerative braking. Number 3 one being the most aggressive, and then the 2 and the 1 becoming progressively less aggressive as they go down. And this button lets you control the battery. It also has what MG calls a discharge function, which allows you to connect with a special accessory connector. You can plug it into the front of the vehicle and you can actually draw power out of the battery of the vehicle to charge laptops, run small little power generators or anything like that. It's not quite at running your house yet, but certainly running small devices. The controller over here, either your E-shifter or E-controller, which allows you to change gears. Really simple the way it's been laid out. There's a reverse, a neutral, a drive and a park. Electric park brake over here and your auto hold button over here. So the console is very well finished. The material that they've used is really high quality and I love the red stitching that runs all the way through. This one is a bit of an odd one. I don't quite understand it, but they've gone for a graphite, or rather a carbon fiber finish, but then they've stitched it. This center armrest is really nice. I like this. It's got a big storage compartment at the back with an armrest. And in the middle here with the cup holders, they've actually built it up on both sides, and this ends up becoming an extended armrest, which is very ergonomically clever the way they've done that. It also has a sliding door that comes in over the top and closes it off really nicely. So if you need to leave something that you want to keep out of sight, you can do that just in there. In the Essence, the top of the range, you get an electric driver's seat. Passenger seat is manual, so you get synthetic leather finish. So it's really the same leather finish that runs through the seats here, as well as the armrest, these panels over here. It's got the same touch and feel to it. Good quality, really good quality. Glove box just in there with owner's manual, MG logo over there, and your owner's handbook. Just talking about the styling in the cabin, everything for me is very zen. That's the kind of feeling that I got about it. You get the impression that this vehicle was designed from day one to be exactly what it is. An electric vehicle. It's got 2 digital displays, a few analog buttons, and that's it. So it's really easy to just jump into this car and figure out exactly what everything does. So the back of the vehicle has got a lot of leg room, but I have kind of cheated in this one. I've moved this chair all the way forward, so this wouldn't be my normal driving position. These rear pockets at the back here are on the top of the range only. You do get rear air vents over here, and you also get a USB charging point and a USB-C charging point. The material and the quality finish of the plastics that they've used at the back, you can see, is a contrast to the front of the vehicle. It's got 3 3-point seat belts, but only 2 rear head restraints. It's got ISOFIX points at the back, so left and right ISOFIX points. And you've got tethering spots at the back here in all 3 positions, 1, 2 and 3 at the back there. So now I've put the driver's seat in my normal driving position just to give you a contrast and a look at how much legroom you still can actually fit in here really comfortably. Over here we've got the 4 electric window. The driver's side window is one touch, the rest of them are not. You got your central locking buttons just next to your driver's door handle over here for locking and unlocking. Underneath here in this little console, you have the electric mirror controllers, left and right, with a little toggle switch, as well as a fold back function. And you also have the height adjustable front headlights with 3 different settings. The air vents are easily controlled with this central little controller, and you can twist it on and off to switch them on and off, and you can also direct them really well. They've got nice chrome finish around the sides and piano black finish all the way through there. You've got the red stitching running through the steering wheel. On this side, you've got your onboard computer controls and voice activated controls, and on the left hand side you've got your radio, mute, volume, track and source selection, as well as your phone answering button over here. You've got 2 digital clusters, the center one over here and your little TV screen over there. Those are the 2 different clusters that you get. As soon as you press the on button, you get the ready light comes on, and then you know that the vehicle is ready to go. So we've got the touch screen in the center over here in landscape mode. Most screens that we see nowadays are in portrait mode. This one is in landscape, and it actually fits a lot more information in it lying this way. The front display is also fully digital. On the right hand side you've got your power indicator, so it's telling you at any given stage how much power the vehicle is using. So when we're going to drive later, you'll see when we start accelerating, it will give you the power reading of how much power it's using, and it will also give you, when using the regenerative braking, the power indicator goes into the minus, meaning that we're actually getting power back through braking. This little indicator over there is the battery level, and the little icon next to the battery with the little number 3 in it, the 3 little pie sections, that's your regenerative braking. So as we start changing that using this switch, you'll see it becomes a little 2 and then a little 1. So those are the 3 different settings of the regenerative braking. I enjoy driving it on number 3. It is very aggressive on number 3, and you almost don't have to use the brake pedal except for when you want to come to a complete stop. Moving up on the display, you have your following distance. So there's those little 3 lines. So the adaptive cruise, you can set the following distance just there. You do also get speed sign recognition, so as soon as you drive past the speed sign, it will read it and display it up there for you. So the steering wheel is only height adjustable, it doesn't have reach, but I find that ergonomically I don't have any issues driving the car. You can adjust the seats and it's perfectly comfortable. On the right hand side here we've got all your windscreen wiper controls, and on the left here is your lights and your indicators. The third little stalk at the bottom is your cruise control, so it's kind of a shout out to a bit of an old school cruise control stalk, so it does have the 3rd stalk. Your touch display screen is very well laid out. It's got Android Auto and it's got Apple CarPlay. It's got your battery charging indicators over there, as well as battery discharge if you want to discharge. Your radio indicators there, and your navigation is over there, so it's broken up into 4 little windows. At the bottom here you've got your fan speed, your temperature settings on the right, your 360-degree view camera, which gives you a view all the way around the vehicle, your radio settings, your home screen button, your navigation button, and your phone setting buttons. So this is your aircon control screen, and this is also where you activate your heated seats for driver and passenger, and that's just all your different aircon controllers and direction indicators. Okay, so that's your temperature button, your fan speed button, front and rear demisters, air conditioning system on and off, volume button and home screen button. Sunglass holder over here. Sunroof controls, this button controls the sunroof, this one controls the sunshade, and then there's all your cabin light buttons. Powering up and putting it into drive. As soon as you put it into drive, it disengages the park brake for you. So every time you start up the car, it puts you into the normal drive mode. If you want to change the drive mode, you use this toggle switch over here. We toggle down this way for eco mode, and we go forward for normal and forward again for sport. So we're in sport now. Definitely feel the acceleration, and as it starts regenerative braking, the power goes into the minus, so that's telling us that it's regenerating the battery. We're using minus power, so in other words we're getting power back. As we come to a dead stop, power goes to 0. At the moment we've got the regenerative braking set to 3. Using this center toggle switch, we move it backwards like that to go to 2 or to go to 1, and then you push it forward to go back up to 2, back up to 3. So 3 is the position I like driving it in for city driving, not so much maybe on the expressway. On the expressway you probably don't want the regenerative braking to be as aggressive. and there you'd probably want to set it to 1. You do have to consider what setting you want the regenerative braking in. There isn't one setting that fits all. I find in city driving that 3, the aggressive regenerative braking is better, and on the expressway I find lower setting of 1. Like now it's hardly slowing us down, but straight away if I go up without me even touching the brake pedal, it's slowing us down. And there we go, the light's gone green for us, so we're pulling away. I'm going to take the expressway. So it does have speed sign recognition as well, so it's picked up the speed signs for us. It's also got lane correction. So I do find that the lane keep assist is very aggressive, so if you start coming out of your line, it pulls you back quickly. To set the cruise control, you press the set button in there and it sets it, and then you can toggle it up and set it to 80 like that. So you just toggle it up and down. This toggle switch sets your following distance. Spring-loaded toggle switch. So at the moment we are going up the expressway at 80 with the smart cruise on. We're in sport mode, but you probably don't need to be in sport mode now, so you can toggle back to eco. Sport mode is really just there for acceleration. So when we're cruising on the expressway, eco mode is probably the best one to be in to preserve your battery. We're going to go to 100 zone now. So as we go into the 100 zone, we can toggle the speed up. And because we're accelerated in eco mode, it's giving us a nice gradual acceleration. We're on a pretty steep incline now, and the car's just effortlessly coming up the hill. Really not struggling at all. The intelligent cruise control you can see here on my screen, it's actually detecting all 3 of those cars in front of me, and it's displaying them over there, left, right, in front of me, and all the way up there. So it's actually picking up more than just the car in front of me, which is pretty remarkable. I've never seen an intelligent cruise control that actually does that. So we'll see another example of it now. There's a car pulling up on our right, and you'll actually see it come into the radar just now. There it is, and it's come up there on the display. So that's all the way to 100 in a heartbeat. It's incredibly responsive, and that was in eco mode, accelerating up that hill and going from 80 to 100. One of the things I wanted to talk about is the battery and the low center of gravity. It gets a very small mention in the brochure, but the truth is the way it makes the car feel and handle is quite remarkable. It's not so much in the expressway, although on the expressway again it does make the car feel really grounded, but it's also just in city driving, going around corners. There's almost no body roll whatsoever on the vehicle, because all the weight is sitting underneath us in the battery. That's the battery settings over there. Once you touch that button, it brings this screen up, which gives you your charging and discharging menus. So your charging is when you've plugged the car in, and you can either charge through AC or DC current. AC can take up to 8 hours according to the brochure to fully charge the vehicle, and DC can get it to 80% charged in just 53 odd minutes. So go back to the home screen. This is your navigation. So this is the car's navigation now that's come up, not Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It's just the car sat nav. So it gives us some readings here. It tells us we're heading south on the M2. The speed limit on the road 100 kilometers an hour, and just some extra bits of information for us there. Wind noise is quite noticeable, especially now that we've got on the expressway. It is a bit of a windy day though as well, so that'd be adding to it, but definitely there seems to be a little bit of wind noise on the express. Road noise and vibrations are minimal, mainly because there's not a lot going on with the car mechanically. There's no internal combustion engine. I've pulled over here, and because I've pulled over and I'm indicating left, it's actually engaged the left camera, and it's showing me what's going on the left hand side of the vehicle in case there's a gutter or a curb or something like that I want to avoid. But I also find it really useful for giving you a lookout for cyclists. The other cool view that it gives you is the 3D view. So if you do that, it's as if you've got a camera looking in 3D down the side of your vehicle. It's obviously just superimposing the car there and using the 360 degree view camera to give me a view of the car on that side. So if I indicate right to pull out, it now shows me the right hand side of the road. 3D camera lets me know what's going on in my blind spot. There goes a car that just came past me, and now we're clear to go. So in eco mode, as we're accelerating, so we're only doing 40 now, this is an 80 zone. So without moving my foot on the accelerator, just by tapping this forward, it just gives me extra power just in that same setting, and you can actually feel the car pulling off without me actually moving my foot on the accelerator. So if you've got range anxiety, the easiest way to fix it is to just go down into eco mode. Now all of a sudden we've got 210 kilometer range, whereas if we go into sport, we're down to 190. So it gives you an extra 20 kilometers almost from one to the other. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments below. If there's any other vehicles that you'd like us to do a focus walkthrough on, leave that in the suggestions below as well.